Communication is a performance. It's a performance with the one, with the few, with the many. Face-to-face, of course, on the telephone, and in the new online world that we all inhabit. It is not the presentation of facts, of data, of analysis, invariably supported by busy PowerPoint slides. Hello, my name is John Bennett. I'm with my colleague today, Graham Pountney.
How do you do?
Together we run the performance skills consultancy Talking Trade Communications. 3 core beliefs underpin everything we do as a business and drive this video. Words alone do not communicate. Facts alone are difficult to remember, and emotion is the key to impact. Graham, what do we mean exactly by words alone don't communicate?
Well, it's a good question, John. If you just say words, they mean very little. They don't communicate. But if you wrap your intentions around them, your belief in what you're saying, your emotion, for lack of a better word, then they become alive and your audience will be convinced. How do you do that physically? Well, here's a trick. Think of the word laser. The L stands for loudness. Got to be heard. Don't mumble, don't speak too loud, otherwise they won't listen. The A stands for good articulation. Articulate the words well so you can be understood. The S stands for silence. Build in a pause or two so that the audience can consider the importance of your words. Emphasize the words that are most important and vary the rate of delivery. That's the R. Let's see how it's done in a professional situation.
Sort of clever on backpacks, does a lot of travelling, done it for years. And he said, Adam, go to this shop. They have got the best of the best. So I travelled to the shop, spoke to the guys there, and they showed me this backpack, which I have to say, a little bit more expensive. But what it proved to me is if you buy the right thing first time, every time, it's going to last you a lifetime.
Laser is about how you deliver the words. Let's just briefly look at the words themselves. And here I want to look at high energy words, the avoidance of cliches and buzzwords, and in particular, the avoidance of what we call non-words. High energy words: excited, exciting, extraordinary, exceptional, sensational, compelling, intriguing, and my favorite, passionate. Associated with that word is the word love. Don't you just love it when somebody says that? I love the way this works. Cliches are part of everyday conversation, but try and avoid them when you're presenting to an audience. Cliches such as at the end of the day, in the final analysis, at this moment in time. Why not just say now? Heads up. And the most recent one, the new normal. Non-words are often used to bridge thoughts. Avoid them. Avoid words such as kind of like, sort of, and like on its own. And beware the frequent use of actually, basically, and okay at the end of thoughts. The more precise your language, the more it flows with the absence in particular of these non-words, the more credible you are seen, the more enjoyable will the experience be for your audience.
You know what? Getting married is something that, well, we do it once. Well, at least we hope we're going to do it once. It's something we do. We tie the knot, don't we, between two people. It's something that we cherish forever. And having something to remind you every single day of your life when you've made that bond is this. What is there? It is an incredible limited edition gold ring, which has the gold, it has the silver entwined together, giving you that yin and yang, that lovely bond of marriage. It's got diamond cut, it's going to bring you the sparkle, it's going to give you the look.
Facts alone are difficult to remember. online audiences don't deal with lists of facts and numbers. And to make it easier, if you wrap them in a story structure, it'll be easier for them to recall and for you to remember. In a business context, think of a headline statement that gives the essence of what you're going to be talking about. Then move into elaborating the problem that you've discovered and how you're going to solve it, and what that problem is causing to be a detrimental effect on the topic that you're talking about. Then move into the solution that you are setting forward to alleviate that problem and the value that that is going to give to the organization. And then you can move into the final bit, which is a strong call to action. Now, let's see how that story structure works in practice.
Buy cheap, pay twice. That's a lesson I've now learned. I'll tell you for why. I do a lot of travelling, and when I travel, I need somebody to put all my items in on my back, and I decided I wanted to get a really good, well, what I believe to be a really good backpack. So I went into my high street, and yeah, there was loads to choose from. But the point was I wanted something not too expensive, something that was affordable, but looked good, would do the job. And I found one. It really was quite cheap. It had zips and pockets and everything. I thought, oh, this is perfect. It's going to do the job. But best of all, it wasn't expensive. Well, let me tell you, I soon learnt. Whilst crossing the river in Peru, let me tell you, the whole bottom dropped out of the rucksack. Can you imagine my horror when all my items were drifting downriver? Not one of those could be salvaged. Well, that was my lesson. I realised in life you get what you pay for. So I went out and bought myself a really good, high quality backpack. One that I knew would do the job. One would last. Yes, it had zips and pockets, had everything I wanted. 10 years down the line, we're both together. That's me in the backpack. We're travelling around the world. And it's still as good today as the day I bought it.
Thank you, Graham. Emotion is the key to impact. It isn't enough just to say the word. The audience has to feel that word. If you are excited to be here today, they have to feel that you are excited to be here today. You have to be the emotion, not just say the word. When you're putting your performance together, ask yourself these two questions throughout the performance. How do I feel about this? The more you're asking how you feel, the more that you will invest emotion into what you say. And the second question is, how do I want the audience to feel as it receives the message? Key to emotional impact is this physical performance. It's what you do with your body. Graham, over the past several months, we've seen some interesting, what we call body language mistakes, have we not?
Oh, yes. Quite true, John. And one of the big ones that we've noticed is there's not enough eye contact with the audience. So that means when you're talking to the audience, you should be delivering the most important points directly to their eyes. And the way to do that is by looking at the camera. Slouching and being miserable. That doesn't help either, because it drops the attention span of your audience. So do what your mother always told you to do. Sit up, look like you mean business. Gesturing is good. Animation is good, but not over the top, because that is very silly. And please, don't fidget. I mean, fiddling with your collar or sniffing with your nose or flicking your hair, that really doesn't help either. That's a major distraction. Reading notes. Very often people have their notes on the keyboard, which means you're doing what I'm doing, which is looking down and all you can see is the top of my head. Get better at sight reading, because then you can take the message and look at the camera and deliver the important messages direct down the lens of the camera. Let's see how this is done in practice.
Being born and bred on a farm, having the life with animals is not the only reason I turned vegan. I did it for health reasons, and I did it for, most importantly, for the planet, saving the environment, cutting down on emissions, and saving the rainforest.
Let's look now at the performance space. And here we want to look at two areas: the backdrop and the equipment that can be used to enhance the performance.
As far as the backdrop is concerned, just be aware of what is behind you and ask yourself, could it distract the audience? And the equipment? Well, let's start with the lighting.
The best lighting is natural lighting, coming from a window onto your face or direct over the top of the camera. Alternatively, you can use augmented lighting.
Here's an example, Graham.
Webcam lighting, absolutely perfect. We've got them on here, augmenting what we're doing. Microphones are very good too. The microphones on a laptop are not particularly good, but we're using an external microphone, which is giving us an authenticity which you can't always get on a laptop. Your image, your own image on the screen, can be augmented by the use of a small camera, a little webcam camera, which can clip onto the top of your own laptop. Makes life much easier and you look really good. You'll need a USB hub, probably to connect all these, the lights, the camera, and the microphone. So enjoy looking good and giving your message down the lens.
A successful digital experience is about audience engagement. It's about connecting with your audience emotionally as well as intellectually. Intellectual connection comes about through the relevance of the message. The more relevant the message, the more the audience will want to listen. Emotional connection is about there being dynamism in your performance, energy in your performance. If you're using PowerPoint slides, think fast changing slides every 20 to 30 seconds. Think expression in your voice, the like of which we have been listening to. Think movement and gesture, controlled movement like Graham was saying a few moments ago. And think audience involvement. Audience involvement through questions, for example. Rhetorical questions, maybe. Open questions, direct questions if you're talking about a small number of people, or perhaps questions through a poll or in a chat area. And if you can, think video clips. Communication is a performance. We hope you've enjoyed and taken value from this video.
Enjoy your next meeting.